For the further notice, we would like to say sorry for the distraction that you will encounter during the presentation, such as unnecessary noises and different quality in each video it contains. Also, we would like to advise you to adjust your volume depends on how you would like the volume of sound you prefer. Note: the references that used is indicated in the end of this presentation. Enjoy watching. Thank you. Module 3. The External Assessment. Presented by Añonuevo, Jeremiah. Bringuela, Von Raymart. Malapaya, Jasper Ian. Silmogan, Jed. Escobar, Julie Ann. Juyo, Helen. Martinez, Asel. Zaid, Sheila.
Good day, everyone, especially to our professor, Sir Christian Umlas. We are the Group 3, and our presentation today is about the external assessment. The definition of external assessment explicitly concerns the setting and marking of an assessment, but does not specify the type of task to be assessed. Here's my explanation about external assessment. External assessment is a form of assessment of question papers, assignments, and tests. For example, you work in an office and your employer asks you to do some paperwork that needs to be submitted that day. That's the assignment that you need to do. Next, the nature of an external audit. The external audit is aimed at identifying key variables that offer actionable responses. Next, firms should be able to respond either offensively or defensively to the factors by formulating strategies that take advantage of external opportunities or that minimize the impact of potential threats. So here's my explanation about the nature of an external audit. The primary goal of an external audit is to identify a variety of external possibilities and threats that the business can take advantage of, as well as the threats that must be avoided. In reality, the external strategic management audit does not consider all possible aspects, the effect that corporate organization rather, and it focuses on the most essential factors that require immediate attention. The organization may engage in offensive or defensive conduct by devising ways to capitalize on an external opportunities while mitigating the negative consequences of an external threats.
The process of performing an external audit. First, gather competitive intelligence and information about economic, social, cultural, demographic, environmental, political, governmental, legal, and technological trends. Information should be assimilated and evaluated. A final list of the most important key external factors should be communicated. An external audit focuses on companies' performance and compliance, especially in the areas of accounting and finance. Accounting records are commonly examined in an external audit to make sure no error exists in the financial statement, which is important for investor and regulatory requirements. It is very important to perform external audit in an organizational doing strategic planning for the first time. The organization should include all its employees in order to successfully complete the process through teamwork.
Lesson 2. The Industrial Organization View. The industrial organization approach to competitive advantage advocates that external factors are more important than internal factors in a firm achieving competitive advantage. This explains that industrial organization focus more on the importance of external factors rather than the internal factors of the firm. This is because the external factors have a significant impact on our company's success. It also has a wider scope, such as the economy, competitors, and also the public.
In the second bullet, industrial organization theorists contend that industry attributes such as economies of scale, buyer-to-market entrance, product differentiation, the economy, and level of competitiveness have a greater impact on firm performance than internal resources, capabilities, structures, and operations. So, in other words, firm performance is based more on industry properties. The industry properties are the economies of scale, buyer-to-market entrance, product differentiation, the economy, and level of competitiveness. They said key factors greatly impact the success or the failure of our firm. So, we really have to focus more on the external factors of our firm. Moreover, the external factors are what tell us what are the opportunities of our firm to improve it and what are the traits we might encounter in running our firm.
So let's proceed to lesson 3, the key external forces. Key external forces can be divided into 5 broad categories. The first one is economic forces. Economic forces refers to the nature and direction of the economy in which business operates. Economic factors have a tremendous impact on business firms. Economic factors are all concerned with the levers of the economy. These include interest rate or economic growth. Economic growth. If there is economic growth, then more jobs will be created and more tax will be paid. Interest rate. When interest rates are high, businesses borrow less and invest less. However, they receive more interest on money saved in the bank. When interest rates are low, businesses may borrow and invest more, but will receive less interest on money in the bank. The second key external forces is social, cultural, demographic, and natural environment forces. Social forces include traditions, values, societal trends, consumer psychology, and the society expectation of business. Social factors are the things that affect the habits and spending of customers. These include demographic change and taste and trends. Demographic change is most commonly used to reflect changes in population such as birth rate and levels of immigrations. For example, statistical evidence shows that the UK population is aging. This demographic information is useful for peers to provide products and receives and services for older people and is an indicator of the strength of the grey pound. Tastes and trends are also changing constantly. For example, Loom Bands became the biggest selling toy of 2014 but fell from popularity for the following year. Fidget spinner grew rapidly in popularity over a matter of months in 2017. Third key external factors is political forces. Political forces, legal forces include the outcome of election, legislation, and court judgment, as well as the decision rendered by various commissions and agencies. Political factors involve the decision and laws that government make. These include tax and laws. Tax. Government can raise or lower corporation tax, which will impact on profit. They can also affect businesses by increasing salt-added tax on products of business rates. Laws. They can bring in new laws like the national minimum wage, which impact on profits and employment rights. Government can also introduce a new health and safety legislation, meaning that a business to change the way it works, for example, by training its staff.
Technological forces. Technological forces influence organization in several ways. A technological innovation can have a sudden and dramatic effect on the environment of a firm. First, technological developments can significantly alter the demand for organization or industry's product or services. Technological change can decimate existing businesses and even entire industries, since it shifts demand from one product to another. Moreover, changes in technology can affect a firm operation as well its product and services. These changes might affect a processing method, raw materials, and services delivery in international business. One country's use a new technological development can make another country's product overpriced and non-competitive. Technological can bring advantages and opportunities for businesses. New technology can create new products and services, thereby creating entire new market for businesses, can increase the productivity and reduce costs. Meaning to say, technology can change the organization, industries, products, and services, but it also has negative effects. It might be increased employment and information abuse. Number 5. Competitive forces. Competitive forces model is an important tool used in strategic analysis to analyze the competitiveness in an industry. The model is more commonly referred to as the Porter's 5 forces model, which include the following 5 forces: intensity of rivalry, threat of potential new entrant, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining powers of suppliers, and threat of substitute goods or services. In our competitive forces model, we include the 6 forces: the power of complementary goods or services provided. The model helps a company understand the risks in the industries it is operating in and decide how it wants to execute its strategies in response to competition. What are the Porter's 5 forces? This model that identifies and analyzes 5 competitive forces that shape every industry and help determine an industry's weaknesses and strength. 5 forces analyzed is frequently used to identify an industry's structure to determine corporate strategy. Porter's model can be applied to any segment of the economy to understand the level of competition within the industry and enhance a company's long-term profitability.
Lesson 4. Competitive Analysis. Porter's 5 Forces Model. What are Porter's 5 Forces? Porter's 5 Forces is a model that identifies and analyzes 5 competitive forces that shape every industry and helps determine an industry's weaknesses and strengths. 5 forces analysis is frequently used to identify an industry's structure to determine corporate strategy. Porter's model can be applied to any segment of the economy to understand the level of competition within the industry and enhance a company's long-term profitability. The first Porter's 5 forces is rivalry among competing firms. It's a measure of the extent of competition among existing firms. Intense rivalry can limit profits and lead to competitive moves including price cutting, increased advertising expenditures, or spending on service, product improvements, and innovation. This force assesses the level of market competitiveness. It takes into account the number of current competitors as well as the capabilities of each of them. The second force is potential entry of new competitors. New entrants into a market bring new production capacity, the desire to gain a foothold in the market, and sometimes substantial resources with which to compete. This force evaluates how simple or difficult it is for competitors from inside an established group of enterprises to break into the market. The third process is potential development of substitute product. The presence of substitute product puts a ceiling on the price that can be charged before consumers will switch to the substitute product. Potential development of substitute product is determined by switching costs, both short and long term, as well as the willingness of customers to ship. It looks at how many competitors there are, how their prices and quality compared to the business being examined, and how much profit those competitors make. The fourth process is bargaining power of suppliers. An evaluation of how easy it is for suppliers to raise price. This is driven by the following factors, such as the number of suppliers of each essential input, the uniqueness of the product or services, the supplier's relative size and strength, and the cost of switching from one supplier to another. Bargaining power of suppliers in an industry influences the competitive environment and profit potential of the buyers. And suppliers are those who supply the company. The last Porter's 5 process of competitive competition analysis is bargaining power of buyers. It is an evaluation of how easy it is for buyers to drive down prices. This is driven by the number of buyers in the market, the importance of each individual buyer to the organizations, and the cost to the buyers of switching from one supplier to another. When a company only has a few powerful buyers, they can obtain dictated terms. It gives buyers the ability to squeeze industry's margin by pressuring firms to lower price or improvement the quality of service or product offered. Furthermore, it provides an understanding of industry's profit potential.
Porter's 5 process model can be used to determine whether competition in a certain industry is such that a firm can generate an acceptable profit utilizing the 3 steps below. First is identify key aspect element of each competitive force that impact the firm. Next is evaluate how strong and important each element is for the firm. And last, decide whether the collective strength of element is worth the firm entering or staying in the industry. Source of external information. Organization can access a wealth of strategic information from published and unpublished sources. Unpublished sources includes customer survey, market research, speeches at professional and shareholder meetings, television programs, interviews, and conversation with stakeholders. Published sources includes periodical, journal, report, government documents, abstract, books, dictionaries, newspapers, and manuals. The internet has made it easier for firms to gather, assimilate, and evaluate information. External sources provide information about companies surrounding. The goal of it is to collect information that can be used to develop a company's strategy. It assists in determining who the most direct competitors are, as well as identifying potential threats and opportunities.
This is the end of the presentation. Thank you and God bless.